Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to our seminar. As everyone knows, it's been announced a couple times, this is Social Media for Dummies, put on by Sharon. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to turn down the lights here. Maybe. There we go. And maybe that'll be easier to see. I love this photo because this was a wood pick that I found on my iPod one day when I was driving back from a bird festival. But social media it's something that's there. It's not anything that, I know we see a lot of articles about, oh, I don't get Facebook, it makes everybody narcissistic, I don't understand Twitter. Whether you like it or not, it's here, and it is a tool that can be used. I can still see him. Does anyone in here have a Facebook account? Okay, most people, that's good. Does anyone here have a Twitter account? All right, so some people. We're going to talk about both, and we're going to talk about different ways that you can use them, and I have a lot of information to give in a short amount of time. If we have time, I'm also going to touch on Foursquare. But if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to come up to me after the seminar, and I'll be happy to answer some of these more in depth. There are several ways to connect out there on the internet. A lot of people say the internet makes us more isolated, but if you look at things like blogging, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, LinkedIn, even photo web sharing websites like Flickr, and our handheld devices like iPods or iPhones and Blackberries and Androids, it's all a way for us to connect. And so it's not necessarily making us more isolated, it's changing the way we socialize for sure, but it's connecting us in new ways. It can be a great tool. One of the things that I really like about Facebook and Twitter is that it gives me an opportunity to connect with my family who is all over the place. This is my nephew Brian, who now lives in Amsterdam and is an iPhone app developer. And so since I don't get to see him very often, I get to see his photos and I get to catch up on what he and his wife are doing. It helps me find commonalities with my friends. I travel a lot for work, and I meet some great people that I love to stay in touch with. One of my friends, Amy, lives in California. I have another friend, Catherine, in New York, and we stay in touch. And, you know, some people say on Facebook, oh, I hate it when someone has their status update that says, oh, I got a new toothbrush today. I don't care about that. I kind of like the little mundane things, especially when Amy posts a new recipe. She said, tonight I'm making chili corn salsa, and I get to steal that recipe from her. Or I find out maybe just little things that are going on in their day, and it just kind of helps me stay in touch, and it also helps establish business relationships. Kind of think of Facebook and Twitter like a convention, or like here. You know, you're going from booth to booth, you're establishing relationships with vendors, you're having public conversations. You may be standing next to a vendor and catching up about your kids. People are milling about around you, and they can overhear your conversation. And that's essentially what Facebook and Twitter is. It allows you to establish connections, but it also allows you to do it in a public way, and so maybe you can expand some of your connections. You can also use Facebook and Twitter just for laughs. If you're on those websites, you'll get a lot, there's a lot of culture known as the LOL cats culture, and people just send you photos and things to make you smile, so that kind of comes along with it. And then sometimes you may see things that you don't want to engage in. Farmville, Mafia Wars. I know a ton of people who said, you know, I got on Facebook and I saw all the quizzes and games and I ran away screaming. I'm going to show you how to hide those. Because if I had to look at that stuff all the time, it would drive me crazy. Not that I'm judging anyone who plays Farmville. A lot of my friends do. I don't understand why, but they do. You want to farm? Yeah, excellent. When you have Facebook, if you don't have an account, but it looks like most people here do, or maybe you've established an account and you're kind of at a crossroads, you need to establish whether you want a public or a private. And this is hard to see, but essentially what I'm showing up here is that I have two different accounts on Facebook. I have, clicker. I have my public profile. It's a profile page for BirdChick, and it's a way for me to connect with new people. And then I have my private account. And at first, with my private account, if someone was in the birding industry, if someone had birding as a hobby, I friended them. After a while, I started getting people that I didn't know very well who had very different philosophical outlooks than I did that I didn't carry. I'm a beekeeper, and one person that I friended happened to be a vegan, and she took me to task one day for enslaving bees. Okay. And the other thing is, and something that was a big concern to me, I friended a bird watcher over in Europe. And I looked at his page, he had a lot of banding going on, he seemed to have a lot of common interests. Then one night point, he started a chat with me on Facebook that got really raunchy very quickly. And I was able to stop that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm an adult, I can tell someone, not appropriate for me. The next day, this person friended my very underage niece who's not interested in birds at all. And that was unacceptable. And so I'm a little more cautious now about who I friend on Facebook, even if we have 17 friends in common or 70 friends. If I don't know you in real life and I don't know you well, I don't friend you. That's why I created a public profile, so that way I don't miss out on opportunities to meet new people, and I can kind of get to know someone here on the public bird chick page, and then the Sharon Steitler page I can kind of keep safely with my nieces and nephews. So decide right away whether or not you're going to have a public or personal profile. If you already have a profile established and you're thinking about incorporating your business into this, consider whether you want to use your public or your personal profile to do that, or if you want to create a separate one. And there are other reasons to have separate profiles. Like, I have one photo album on my private profile called The Weird Stuff I See on My Travels. Like, this was a sign on a bus in North Dakota. Apparently, if you're a cowboy, you're not allowed to stand and pee at the same time on the bus. So I don't mind if everybody sees those photos. But maybe that Halloween party my husband and I attended in 2008, maybe not everyone needs to see those photos, and that's the only photo we'll see from that photo album. So you want to decide you really have to think about whatever goes up on your Facebook profile, anyone could see. So to create your friend policy, decide right away who you're going to friend and who you're not going to be friend, and never hesitate to ignore a friend request. There's it happens all the time. If you are concerned that someone has friended you and you don't want to friend them and it might cause problems, just send a private note. I do that quite often. I just tell people, hey, the Sharon Steitler profile, I use that primarily for very close friends and my family. I'd be happy to get to know you on the bird chick page. And most people are understanding on that. And then consider two profiles. Actually, what's really funny is I share a community farm share with my neighbor Zoe, and sometimes she gets confused, and so sometimes on my bird chick page she'll say, hey, can you pick up the farm share today? Now, a lot of people have concerns with Facebook about privacy, and you should have concerns about that, and it's always a good idea to keep that in mind, even if you have something private. But you do have a lot of options when it comes to controlling your privacy. This can be found in the top right corner of your page where it says Home, Profile, and Account. And if you click on Account, all these great settings come up. And to get into your account settings, you really want to go into Privacy Settings. And Facebook recommends that you keep a lot of things public. When you establish your account, they kind of default to this where everyone, whether they're friends with you or not, can see your status update, your photos, or anything you post to your wall. They can see your bio. They can see who you're related to. Then for some of your photos that you're tagged in, say if someone you know took your picture and then tagged you in that photo, your religious or political views, your birthday, they have a setting called Friends of Friends. That's essentially everybody. Even though it's just saying that if someone is friends with you, their friends can see it, really consider that to be everybody. Facebook also recommends that people who comment and places you check into and your contact information be friends only. I personally wasn't comfortable with that, and so what you can really do is you can really customize your setting. Pretty much, unless you're friends with me, you're not going to see anything. And some things, they have a column here, I can put people on limited profile. So if my great Aunt Lorelai friends me on Facebook, and I know she'll be interested in my bird watching photos and my beekeeping photos, she won't be interested necessarily in drunken Halloween parties, I can kind of block Aunt Lorelai from those photos. So you really do have quite a bit of control. And if you just spend about half an hour going into your privacy settings and understanding all of that, you can keep things private if you need to. Now, let's say you have a friend who is the Farmville and Mafia Wars maven. She does every quiz and she tags you in it. And you like this friend, but you don't necessarily want to see all that stuff. When they post things like, this is my friend CJ, she posted a quiz the other day about which Shakespearean lady are you. If you hover your mouse right around this area, this box pops up. And this box asks you if you want to hide CJ, if you want to hide this particular quiz, if you want to mark her as spam and report her to Facebook, or if you made a mistake and you want to cancel her. Now, hiding CJ, this means I would never see any update that she ever does. And you may be asking yourself, well, why don't I just get rid of her as a friend? Well, let's say CJ is a cousin who causes a lot of problems at Thanksgiving. If I unfriend her, she's going to know I unfriend her. If I don't want to see what CJ has going on, I can just hide her. I never see it, and she doesn't know I've blocked her. She doesn't. So that's where hiding comes in. It can sometimes save arguments. I wish I'd done that early on. My husband and I have a friend in common, and she used her status updates in an annoying way. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to unfriend her. And my husband said, oh, I wouldn't do that. And I said, no, she's got 398 friends. She's not going to notice if I click the unfriend button. So I did. The next morning, my husband's laughing. He said, guess what Amy's status update is today? He said it reads, yesterday I had 398 friends. Today I only had 397. What did I do wrong? 24 hours later, I had a very long email from this person wondering what she had done and if she had offended me. And I just said, you know what, I just kind of freaked out on Facebook, and don't worry about it. It was me, not you. So hiding would have saved me an unfortunate email. She wouldn't have known that I blocked her. But yeah, let's say you like this person, you just don't like Farmville or Mafia Wars, you can hide that, and then you never have to see those Mafia Wars or Farmville updates ever again, and it can make your Facebook experience so much more fun. And then once you have your account settings established and you've hidden games and quizzes that you're not interested in, you can do some really cool things. I do an event, I was talking about it before the program started, I do an event called Birds and Beers. And basically what I do is I gather birders of all abilities together, I pick a bar and we meet there and we have a drink and we talk some birds. I used to put on my blog birdchick.com when I was having these, but not everybody was checking that. So I created a Facebook group for it, and so anyone can like that. And then on that page, I can create an event. So every time I organize a Birds and Beers, I just plug in the date and the information and the location, and then everybody who's on that page gets a notification that I created it. I can also take it a step further, and I can create an invitation, and I can invite people. And you can organize your friends on your personal page into groups. Like I have my Twin Cities friends, I have my birding friends. So if I'm just having a Birds and Beers in the Twin Cities, I can select it so I only invite people in the Twin Cities. So that way people in California and New York don't have to get an invitation that they're not interested in. But think about how you could use this for your store. Are you having a special event? Are you having a sale? If your customers are fans of your page, you can kind of create that event and send it out to them. And then what happens is, on the news feed, if they clicked on the invitation and said, yes, I'm coming, or maybe I'm coming, they get a reminder a couple of days beforehand that the sale or the event is about to happen. So it's a really great tool for getting people to come. My husband is very involved in the Twin Cities theater community, and it's been fascinating to watch how all the smaller theater companies have really changed their advertising practices. They do almost all of their advertising for their shows via Facebook and Twitter. It's also a great way to kind of guilt your friends too. To come into the show. I noticed you weren't at the show last night. But there are just really some great possibilities